Hi, I'm Katie Sky, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to Not Pinecone. I am actually on my slow mode island of Moondrop, which you will be seeing a lot more in the future. It is brand new, and we are going to be working on the entrance. And this video is in collaboration with several other amazing Animal Crossing creators. I will have them all linked down below so that you can go check them out in their amazing videos as well. And for this collab, it is Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, by the way. And for this Pride Month build, I decided that I was going to do a demisexual themed build. And if you do not know what demisexual is, demisexual falls under the asexual kind of umbrella, and it essentially means that a person needs to have an emotional connection to feel any sort of sexual attraction to another person. And obviously, like with any other, orientation, this has been around for basically since people have existed, but the term itself wasn't used until like the early 2000s. I don't remember exactly which year it was, but it was early 2000s. And while demisexuality does fall under the asexual umbrella, it does have its own subsections, I suppose you would call it, within the demisexual umbrella as well. Even though this term demisexuality was kind of coined in the early 2000s, I never had really heard about it until the last 5 years or so. So growing up, I never knew anything like this really existed. And let me tell you, knowing about this would have been very helpful as a teenager when I wasn't really experiencing the same thing as everyone around me was. And like, my friends were like, I have this crush and that crush, and I'm like, okay, I don't have any crush. Obviously, sexuality is fluid, and that is the case for demisexuals and asexuals as well. Things can shift and change throughout your life. Maybe at one point in your life you felt you were more demi, and then as you grow older and mature or whatever, you feel like you shift more towards, just being straight ace. There's also a bunch of other like micro sexualities underneath the ace umbrella. It's something to definitely look into because it is quite interesting how many different like micro sexualities are under each like broad umbrella. And so in this video we're doing a nod to the colors of the asexual and demisexual flags, which are very, very similar. The colors that are on these flags are black, white, gray, and purple. So those are the colors that I have incorporated into this build, which is a butterfly. I don't know if I mentioned that or if you could see the bushes outline the shape of a butterfly, and then the flowers are like the wings. And for the gray, because we don't have gray flowers, unfortunately, I did a gray brick pathing to kind of represent that, as you can see me working on here. And I did place the flowers in a very strategically thought out way. So the main flower that you see in the butterfly wings is black, and you only have a few pops of these purple flowers. And in my mind, the purple flowers kind of represent in demisexuality those times where you connect really well with another person and you have that spark. Since that can be so rare for someone with demisexuality, especially someone like me who doesn't leave their house, I thought just having one or two in each wing kind of represented that really well. And this is a design I've seen kind of on Pinterest for a long time that I've always kind of wanted to do on a large scale. So I'm really excited to have finally been able to find an island that this works really well on. And I also thought it was really cool to do it as the entrance, because on this island at this point I have not hit 3 stars yet. But I wanted to do it as the entrance, so I really wanted to challenge myself to do an entrance that didn't have terraforming, didn't have waterscaping, and didn't have like tons of items. I've really never done an entrance quite like this, so I'm very excited about how this came out. And right now I'm just kind of outlining the wings with this light dirt path that has little purple flowers on it, of course. And I did go back and forth on if I wanted to do this, because I do feel like in some areas it can look kind of funky because of the straight edges that you can see. And this was how I've seen other people do this type of build, is they outline it, and I do think it really helps with visibility, so that your brain can kind of make sense of the shape in a way. I will have to go back at some point once I have a better idea of what I'm gonna do with this island and readjust some of the pathing, I believe, just so that it goes somewhere, because right now it's just like you enter into the butterfly of demisexuality and then you can't go anywhere. And the reason I did that is because I don't know what I'm gonna do on this island. I have several ideas, but I don't know. Nothing has sparked my creativity except for this one singular build, but it is what I'm calling my slow mode island. I don't like the term forever island because I know I'm not gonna keep it forever. I am gonna try to do it as slow as possible, which for me could be anywhere from 6 months to a year. We'll just have to see, you know, how it shakes out, because, you know, I do islands pretty quickly. So Moondrop will be referred to as my slow mode island, just so there's no confusion. And you will be seeing me start Moondrop in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be putting out that video. I really just wanted to finish Pinecone entirely before I moved on to showing you guys like the other couple of islands that I've been working on the last few weeks, just because I felt like if I didn't fully finish Pinecone that I wouldn't, because these have been the shiny new hyperfixations for me, and I knew that if I went off with them before Pinecone was done, I might not go back to Pinecone, and I really wanted to finish it. But now that Pinecone is done, I can start showing you all the cool things that I've been up to. Especially after all of like my author stuff has kind of calmed down. You know, I did that book signing last weekend, and so that's done, so I can kind of take a breath on that front. I don't have another book event until September, I believe, so I can kind of concentrate on Animal Crossing a little bit more and, you know, writing the next book, but that takes a lot of time. All that to say that you're going to be getting some more varied content in the very near future, content that I'm really excited for, and I hope you guys will be too. Something I was really excited to do on this build is to use the bug models for the butterflies. I don't normally use models in the decorating of this game, and so I was excited to find a way to incorporate it, but in a way that's more true to how I style things. For the longest time, I didn't know what I wanted to do for this collab build. You know, I was gonna do an HHP build because I didn't want to like give any sneak peeks away at the islands I was working on, And then I couldn't make that how I wanted it to. And from there I was like, okay, but what island do I put it on? I don't have an island that it would like really work with. And then I was like, well, you have Moondrop. That doesn't have a theme yet. It can work with anything. And this build in the end makes me so happy. So I'm really glad that I decided to build on Moondrop, even though it's technically ahead of schedule. I wasn't going to start building on it for a while, but you know, we can have a cute little entrance now and ignore that Phoebe has a thought bubble. I am now moving on to the white portion of the flag, which I'm just surrounding the entire build with white flowers. Like, that's all. So many flowers. I just really felt like the build was missing something, and that around the butterfly looked very plain and kind of boring, to be completely honest. And so I was trying to find a way that made it not boring and gave it a little bit more visual interest. And I mean, what's more visually interesting than flowers? A flower field. Like, flower fields are so pretty. And that was our last color of the flag that I really needed to incorporate. So it kind of worked out perfectly. And then I was trying to make the edges not just like a big square, so I was trying to vary the edges a little bit so that it looked kind of like it naturally tapered off, not that, you know, the build just ended randomly with a very straight line. We don't like straight lines in this game. Straight lines are not the way to go. I don't know why that is, but unless you're doing like a boardwalk or like a road, I just don't think that straight lines look good. And I contemplated trying to get all of my rocks into this area too. Let me tell you, I'm not going to do a rock garden at the very beginning of an island. That is just, that's some crazy talk right there. That's so much work. I do rock gardens at the very end because it's easier to fill all of the bare spaces so that they don't go into the wrong spot when the island is already full. And I was like, that's a lot of work for the beginning of an island. Let's not do that. Maybe one day I'll put a rock garden in the very front of my island in the entrance. That is not this island. That is not today. And I don't know if in the future I'm going to remove a lot of these trees that are behind this build. Maybe I'll put in some waterfalls, some cliffs. I'm not really sure what's going to happen beyond this one build. It's the only idea I've had for this island. Because like I said, I wasn't planning on building on this island for at least a few more weeks because I'm taking it very slow because it's my slow mode. And so I have no idea what this island is going to end up being. If you have any themes that you think might be cool for this island, definitely leave them below. I will take any suggestions at this point. Not a tropical island though, because that's the other island I'm working on right now, and I don't need to work on two tropical islands at the same time. That is just asking to burn me out. Like, that's just asking for burnout. Oh, look, it's little Bam. I love Bam so much, and when I was able to get him as my starter for this island, yeah, he was my starter. I was so happy. Bam was my first ever jog in Animal Crossing, period, not just New Horizons, although he was my first jog in New Horizons as well. I somehow managed with the same two starters in Wild World, which was the first Animal Crossing game I ever played, and New Horizons. I don't know how that happened, but yeah, they were exactly the same. It was Pashmina and Bam, and I love them so much. They hold a special place in my heart because of it. Anyway, back to what I was saying. If you have any ideas for this island, let me know. Or I really guess if you have any themes that you'd like to see me attempt, let me know those as well. I will put them on the list and we will eventually get to them maybe. Also, is this not the cutest custom designed sweater that I could have found for this video? It's a little gray sweater with the word nope, which a lot of asexuals use, and in the asexual colors. I'm like, oh, it was perfect. I kind of want this sweater in real life, to be completely honest. And I just randomly came across it and I was like, I need that for the video. Put that on my little character right now. And so I did. It's too cute. I feel like I've been putting flowers down for years at this point. There's so many flowers. And now we're just gonna kind of put the last touches on this demisexual Pride Month build. And here I'm just putting the little flag, the Demi Pride flag, so that you know that that's what this is, just on a little stool so that you can see it. And I think it came out so cute. And these little flags were definitely just like the cherry on top of this build. Like, it was just too perfect not to do. And once I put these flags down, the build is pretty much done. Definitely let me know what you think. And don't forget to check out the other amazing creators that are part of this collab. And I will see you in the next one. Bye!